Our Fox Focus tonight's on a young woman in Palm Harbor.
We've got Maja Kazazic.
별의 여자 마야 카자지치 이야기인데요.
That's amazing, all the things she said she's still doing.
I feel like there's no better place to be than where I am right now.
I have a lot of dreams, and I think I'll always have dreams.
Would you please join me now in welcoming to our stage Miss Maja Kazazic.
Story like that before.
It may have been the single most compelling story I think I've ever heard.
After hearing that great story, it really makes us understand how truly blessed we are.
The war started originally in Slovenia, one of the republics of Yugoslavia, and it slowly moved to Croatia, and then eventually ended up in Bosnia, which is where I was, in Mostar, Bosnia. When the war started, I was about 13 years old. It's not something that happens overnight.
We had no water, no food, no electricity, no outside contact whatsoever. We were just 60,000 civilians stuck, trying to figure out how to live.
Maja Kazazic,
in an instant it happens. Usually they say the bomb that you don't hear is the one that's going to get you.
I just didn't know what was happening. It was just like I sat on the wall, and the next thing I know, I'm choking.
Literally in a split second, I looked around. They were all dead around me. I was transported in a car to this makeshift hospital. By that time, I was in excruciating pain. I'm tied up, and I could feel them cutting my leg off.
Without any medications, obviously infections set in.
I was one day laying in the bed, and some lady came with an interpreter saying that she was evacuating 3 kids out.
Be ready if you want to go. And we need to know in the next 10 minutes.
I knew I had to leave.
We escorted 5 badly wounded children being evacuated by a private relief worker from Britain. These children were the lucky ones to escape from the hell on earth, which is Mostar.
She survived the horrors of war and a devastating injury to make a new life here in the U.S. But every step was painful until she met Winter.
Winter and my story is very interesting. 2 years I didn't walk because by the time everything healed, it took about 2 years for me to get my first prosthetic. I was really very sad and upset, and I just needed to go away. I had gone to aquarium, and I just sat there and I was watching the dolphin swim, and I saw Winter, and she didn't have a tail.
Maja Kazazic could hardly believe it when she saw the trainer slide a prosthetic tail on a little dolphin named Winter.
And I'm looking around and I'm thinking, time out. I've got this dolphin swimming with a prosthetic tail. She's got a big smile on her face. She's doing these tricks, and I'm thinking, there's something wrong with this picture. What I decided to do is I decided to throw the pity out of the window and stop feeling sorry for myself.
Hang on a second, if she could do that, I gotta be able to do it. And whoever made her tail, gotta be able to make a leg for me.
And literally 10 days later, I was in a prosthetic that allowed me to walk pain-free. And I was playing tennis, I started running, I started playing golf, and I was, more importantly, really walking pain-free.
We are.
And I see 4 of my friends blown to bits. Right across the street, I see my brother. Through his eyes, I saw exactly what was happening to me. I had realized that the rocket-propelled grenade has exploded about 6 feet from us, instantly killing everybody and severely injuring me. Now, at that time, I ask you, how do you stay positive? What is the bomb that's going to land in your lap, or that has landed in your lap? What is your nemesis that is twisting your world upside down? What do you do when you're in the midst of your crisis and your world changes? And how do I, in the midst of my bomb, how do I stay positive? Do I take the victim mentality? Or do I change the perspective a little bit? And I say, wow, I'm lucky. Look, I have 5 dead bodies next to me that tell me that I am a hero. I am not a victim. Because positivity is a matter of perspective, and perspective is a matter of choice.
You need to show your team that you can lead yourself in your life before they will trust you with theirs. Number 2, you need to provide your team with not only motivation with creating common goals, but you need to also create common enemies. Just look at Microsoft and Apple. They're a perfect example. They're enemies. They're all great teams and all great leaders, but they're constantly trying to one-up each other, which creates cohesiveness within each team. Number 3, you need to provide your team with tools to do their job successfully and help them remove obstacles that are in their way. Because if you can't help them remove the obstacles and provide them with tools to do their job, they're not going to be successful or want to be part of your team. And number 4, one of the most important ones, you need to let them own it. They need to feel like they own the process, they own the product, they own the project. Because if they feel like they own it, they become part of it. And when they're part of it, they're going to give everything of themselves to that team.
Great salespeople, they solve problems, they build meaningful relationships, they adapt, they focus, and more importantly, they have confidence. Change is connected with the unknown, especially in large organizations. And if you look at a pyramid, people on top know everything that's happening, and the further down the pyramid you go, the less you know and the more you fear. When people fear the unknown, they're basically asking 3 different questions that you need to help answer. The first is, when is it going to happen? What is going to happen? And number 3, how will it affect me?
Circumstances define who you are. I hear people say quite frequently, don't let the circumstances define you. But I'm here to tell you that circumstances, whether you have control over it or not, and quite frequently we don't have control over it, will define who you are. Just look at my life, an example in my life. I had no control over whether that bomb was going to land or not. But it actually defined who I am. I went in one day from being an athlete to being an amputee. Your circumstances will define who you are and what your life is going to be. But there is one thing that you do have control over, even if you don't have control over your circumstances. And that is, you can control how you act and react in any given circumstances.
For her to come through that and then give us a message on positivity, it was overall inspiring and so impactful.
This woman made me realize that you can get through anything.
I felt so empowered to go ahead and make the right choices and change my perspective.
It made you feel like you can conquer anything.
If you have ever had a chance to hear Maja speak, do so. She's an amazing young woman.